Hello. All right. Everything should be working, and think I have everything. Think I have everything prepared to make sure I have the proper screen sharing. All right, good. Uploading it. All right. Well, I'll start off here with my face. I'll give it a little bit more time for people to trickle in. The Twitch ads, I gotta make sure to watch for that. I'm going off of memory, so my goal is to make sure everything works. And just so you know, if you see me look off to the right, I have another screen that I'm looking at for to see myself, to see how goofy I look, and I got my camera facing me here, and just give a little bit of time to the people. Oh my gosh, comments! Excited for the SQL session. All right, show you. Thank you, Superathon. Oh my gosh, there's people. Oh my gosh, hi, Kari. She's gonna be watching me, my mentor. She just taught me so much right now in such a short time. I'm so excited to do this. Probably give it like maybe one more minute before I just. Actually, I'll just start setting up my slides right now. Let's go over. Let's do. Oh wait, this one. Yeah, he's great. Super nice. Oh, I'm kind of blocking. I can do like this. Oh, whoa. First time, guys. Don't mind me. Oh my goodness, so many. There we go. I like that one. Personally, I like saying SQL because it just sounds a little cooler to me. But SQL is definitely a lot of my friends like saying SQL. PostgreSQL is my favorite. I've been coding for a while, and my startup's all in SQL for my backend. So hopefully, I'll be able to give an intro to it. We'll see how everything works out right now. My favorite thing too. But, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're at the 5 minute timer. And I'm going to start off with my slides. And I'm going to say, all right, hello, everyone. Welcome to SQL, your gateway to data management. And I made these slides all by myself. And I'm going to say that it's like of course, like imagine a world overflowing with information, a sea of data, and then SQL is going to be your compass and map in that sea. And when I say sea, I'm going to talk about like, imagine a company like Google, how many users they have, all that information. That's going to be in one huge database. Imagine it all in one spot, and you have to find one user. You're not going to be able to just scroll through and like be like, is this what I'm looking for? No, and then just go, because that would take ages, especially with how big Google is. And then I wanted to talk a little more about like the data management. I'll be showing that off, and my goal for this stream is going to be introing it, where I'm going to start off with doing commands on Supabase. I'm not going to talk as much about Supabase, but they have an SQL editor where I'll be able to show everything that's happening, and I can run commands. And my goal is to go over like certain topics, intro it, but going based off of the chat. And if there's any questions, I can like pull it up and solve them there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, not to destroy me. And then I also want to show the everyday applications and like companies that use them. So going through my slides, how do I go to the next? There we go. All right. Fun facts about me. My first technical stream. Super excited to be here. My pronouns are he, him, and I love the hacker community. And if I sound a little weird, I just came back from Canada. I was doing Hack North. Super fun. Highly recommend y'all doing hackathon. One coming up is going to be the NASA one. You can still sign up for it, and it's all online. I'd highly recommend joining and searching it up. Super cool thing. There's going to be MLH coaches with it. I will be coaching it, but super exciting opportunity. Highly recommend doing it. And moving on to the next slide, I want to talk a little bit about the evolution of SQL. And this guy, my hero. So his name is Dr. Edgar F. Codd. And back in the day before I was born, there was going to be databases being created, but it was really hard to get the information. Like the Google, we're like trying to scroll through and get all that information. But this guy proposed a relational model, which is SQL, the query language. And through that, it was able to see like people started using it and being like, yo, this is fire. This is cool. And then it became like a standard institute in 1986, and people still use it to this day. And some people, I've heard it some before where like they'll argue that SQL isn't that good because it's going to be other databases like Firebase, which use JSON, which isn't SQL backed. But personally, I think SQL, even if it's older, like it's still so widely used, and I'll show that in the slides later. Moving on next, the basics of it. It's a structured query language. Syntax is easy to learn, and for the tutorial right now, it's gonna be super easy. Like everything's gonna be a one-liner. I'll show it all off. I'll show the power of it, and then there's gonna be the like CRUD operations, but for SQL, they're going to be select, insert, update, and delete. Those are the core commands that we use, and then understanding databases. I'm going to be using Supabase for this tutorial, and it has a lot of power, but we're just going to be an editor for today. And tables is going to be one that we're going to use. I'll show that when I start pulling up the actual editor. And then it's a relational database, which means that you can make those connections using queries. And if I wanted to, I could have had like 20 tables and I could have all of them working together and running queries where like one query is dependent on another table. And then like I get it made it dependent on four. There's a lot of power to it. And like you hold that with your fingertips because you decide like what information you want to find, what you want to do with it, like what you want to create. That's why I think it's so cool because it has so much power. And then I'm going off of what I'm saying. SQL's role to communicate with database. Yeah, I said that already. We can move on. And then we're going to see right now that CRUD is a heartbeat. Yeah, we see that. We're going to see the create, which is adding new data, read, which is retrieving existing data, update, which is modifying data, and delete, which is removing data. Pretty obvious. And the one I'm going to really be focusing on is that read one because in production, you're gonna have a lot of times where like you're gonna be setting up queries to get information because you're already gonna have that database created. It's gonna be a lot of information, and what you're going to want to do is pull information from that to use for the customer. And the reason I want to focus on this read part is it'll be clear. Don't give me like 2 minutes. I just really want to emphasize this part. Hi Zaid, I just saw my name. Immediately made me look over. And I wanted to say that real world applications of SQL are going to be e-commerce, healthcare, finance, social media, and like these are like four out of so many different industries. Like with the way the world is right now, like AI is coming into like a lot of things, and even with that, like there's a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. But one thing that I'll like say is concrete is data. And then you want to be able to see how that data works. So then it's going to be SQL. At least for me, I love SQL. And then my final slide for this part is going to be the companies that use SQL for their backend. And we're going to see Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta. I'm a computer science student, so seeing these companies and seeing that I know SQL, like it looks pretty cool, especially like if I ever get an interview, I can say like, hey, I can parse your database, I can do this. Like it's super cool in my opinion. And if you have any questions or anything, please do let me know. Anything you want to talk about, I'm super happy to like stop and like talk about it. Of course, SQL related to make sure. But there's gonna be some like future things that I also wanted to add just as a page. And for this part, I'm going to go on doing the NoSQL, which is I talked about earlier, which is going to be like Firebase. There's other databases that have it like that. They're powerful, and like the Firebase one is backed by Google. They made it, and it's pretty good. But SQL is going to let you. It's a little has a bit of more of a learning curve, but in the end, that learning curve, if you pick it up and like take the time in to figure it out, it's really beneficial to make sure that when you have to do queries and you have to find information, it'll be a lot more thorough and make sure that if there's something there that you need to find, like you're gonna find it and it's gonna be like exactly how you want it. And then cloud databases, there's AWS or stuff like that. But just to say, they do use SQL, SQL, however you prefer to say it, they use it. And then integration into machine learning is definitely going to be a thing. How I talked about the rise of AI, um, data is going to be a big part of it. You need data to train a model. A model's going to give you data. And through that, like you want to make sure you're making the right queries so you can train it properly because you don't want to give an AI model just random like gibberish data because it's not going to be able to learn from it. And what's my last slide? All right, boom, a practical demo. And now this is the part where I am going to go over here and I'm going to add, I believe I can do this and I can go this. Bam, cinema. All right. So I have my SQL editor here. I created a a Supabase project with under my personal thing. And here I'm gonna have an editor. And to give an example, just to show, this is one from a previous command. I can just like fix this right now. But the first thing we're going to go over is understanding how I have this database down here. And oh sorry, right here. So you can see my mouse. I believe you can. But the database that I'm going to be using is going to be one as if I am a car lot owner. Like I own a dealership. I have a lot of cars, and there's going to be different tags. Like here, let's make this look a little better. Don't worry, I will explain everything that's happening here, and should work. There we go. All right. So this is me showing the entire database. I'm going to slow down and make sure I show you how I created this database and how I insert all the values. But logically speaking, first I want to show the information. So we're going to have an ID to a car. We're going to have the brand of it. We're going to have the model. We're going to have year, price, the color of the car, and condition. And condition, to explain a little more, one is going to be like, it's like scrap, it doesn't work. And five is going to be like perfect. You can drive it right off the lot and it's going to be like mint condition. And then sold was true or false, whether you have the car or not, but it could still be in a database. And then to show a little more about this before I show you creating another table is this is gonna be the SQL editor, like where I can type stuff. I can command like, hey everyone, oh, hey everyone. Here's gonna be where you can see me type, and then this is gonna show the primary database I'm using, which I only have one, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm using Postgres, which is gonna be allowing me to do those queries, and then this is where I'm gonna run the actual query commands, so I can see what happens as a result. So like getting information and stuff. So let me make sure I set this up properly for y'all. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and probably I can choose now. I don't know if anyone wants to respond to this. Which program is this again? I'm using SQL and it's in Supabase, which is a framework that uses it. And it's a query language and it's super cool. And I'm like debating right now what's like the best way to go about this. I can see like if anyone's down to comment and we can figure this out. I can either create that other database or I can start showing y'all with the created. Sorry, I keep saying database. There's one database right now that I have here like as an instance, and then I have tables in it with just storing information because it looks cleaner. So I can create another table and show you how I did that from the very like from scratch, or I can choose to use this one and then you start doing query commands and explaining like basic like getting information and then starting to add conditionals and stuff. So I'll give a little bit of time. Like whoever's in the chat, like I would love for you to comment what exactly you're looking for. Do you want me to start like based off of creating the table, or do you want me to do the start doing queries? First comment picks. I'll let them decide. Kari, she said, "Can I get a free Supabase account?" And I'll answer that first, and I'll say yes. Supabase is open source and completely free, and for personal use, it's super easy to set up. You just make an account, connect your GitHub to it, you can personalize it to like create an organization of like, hey, I have a bunch of friends that I want to make a database with. All right, let me create this, invite my friends, and you can all work on it together. I have my startup on it. I haven't paid a single dollar. It's super nice. I have 300 on the wait list, and it's like I'm only saying that for the numbers to show like you can store that much information on it, and it's just super nice to use, super easy to query. Be like, okay, I can literally search up how many people signed up in the last hour, and it's like, oh, two. But I see the Superathon said queries, so we're gonna start off here. And to start the first thing, that command that I ran, I'm gonna break that down. It was select all from cars. So now explaining this, we're gonna start off with select, which means we're gonna be grabbing a table, and then, sorry, select means we're gonna be grabbing columns, because right now we're in one primary database, so we don't have to tell it a specific database that we're in. And then this asterisk is like a universal symbol. It's used in a lot of different languages, but some people like can use dot, but I don't think that applies to SQL. So that asterisk is going to mean all. like I could change this to be just brand and then model. And then if I run this, it would just show brand and model. But that asterisk is able to determine, okay, grab every single column and show it. And when I say grab every single column and show it, that from is going to be like the selector in a way, where it's showing, it's saying, okay, I'm pulling from, and then that blank area after is going to be whatever you name the table. And I only have one table to keep it simple. It's called cars, and that's going to be our cars that we're going to be showing. So I'm going to have that here. And then now let's just show one more time, like select, let's just see the prices of cars, price, and then let's see the color of cars. And then we can do from, oh, whoops, ignore my typing, guys. And then if we run this, you see the only thing that shows up from that is going to be prices and then the color tailored to it. So just looking at this, we can see that red is expensive. Oh my gosh, light green is bougie. And Zaid said, the asterisk is grabbing all columns in the table. Yes, that is exactly what it's doing. Good job. You are recertifying my knowledge, which honestly you're helping me more than you think. All right. So now moving on, I was able to show you that. I'll show this again so you can see the whole table. And now we're going to go on to the next major thing. So select is where we're grabbing at, right? And then from cars. So this is the part where we're able to grab that information and we're able to display it. But this is a lot. And right now, if I scroll down, you'll see there's a total of 42 cars. What if I only want to see like cars that are white? What if I only want to see cars that are in mint condition? What if I only want to see cars that are sold? So with that, we're going to have to add a where clause. And then this is going to be the syntax for it. And to go back a little bit, you don't have to capitalize these things, but it's good practice. It's good like camel case and things like that. It makes it a lot cleaner for understanding that, hey, capital stuff is going to be stuff from the SQL query language, and uncapital is going to be stuff that I named or I created, because I didn't have to call the table cars, but it makes sense to call it cars. So that's what I'm going to use. And then now we're going to look here with this where clause, we can set a conditional statement. So I can say where brand equals, and then since it's a string, I'm going to add these two, I'm blanking. What are they called? Apostrophes? Oof. Single quotation marks. There we go. Oh, and now we're just going to say Ford. So now, slowing this down, we're selecting all the columns from cars where the brand is Ford. And if we run this, boom. All right. So we're going to see here that we have the IDs of it. So they're on cars. So out of our 42 cars, we're going to see that they're all Ford. And we have some Mustangs, a Capri, Granada. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a car person. I'm not gonna know some of these cars, but I know Mustangs are pretty cool. These are all really old, but not too many conditions. But you're able to see here, like in this, we're seeing all of the columns, and then we see all of these are Ford. So that means that we're able to grab all information specifically for Ford. And then now we can set another condition where, let's say, we only want cars where the color is equal to white. Run this query, and the same thing will happen again where we can see this color one. And then to make it look a little cleaner, all we can do is just do color and then brand. When we run this, we'll see all white cars and then what brand they are. So you can really like, I guess if you have an imaginative mind, you can like expand out, collapse in, depending on what exactly you want to see. Because I'm showing everything off right now because I only have, what, 7 parameters, and then I have 42 entries. Imagine having a database with a million entries and each one has 30 parameters. You're not going to want all that information. A lot of it could be timestamps and stuff that aren't really necessary for what you're looking for. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your queries, especially with like big information, you're making sure that you're only showing what you need from it. And then I see that, let's see what, so I said, so the where clause filters the columns based on the conditions. Perfect. Boom. It's working. I'm showing stuff. That's so cool. All right. So 100% totally correct. Totally correct. Ignore the way I talk sometimes. And yeah, it's gonna be off of that conditional, and I can add another one where let's go back to showing all of them so it looks a little prettier. And then let's say I want to see where year equals exactly 1965. Boom. Now all the cars are super old, I'm not gonna lie. But they're able to show this year thing. And then we see from all the other ones that there's a Ford, an Aston Martin, another Ford, and a Triumph. So that's going to be the where clause. It's pretty simple right now. We're going to keep it that way. We want to make sure you understand logically what's happening here. And that conditional thing, it's going to be like an if statement, right? Like where this is true, then you can show it. And logically speaking, in code, you're not going to only have one conditional. So going back to that million entries, 30 parameters, you're going to have multiple conditions. So the next thing I'm going to enter is going to be the and one. And this and, you're going to be able to add whatever you want. So let's do cars that are year equals 1965. So we see this here. And then we see, let's go off of the condition. So we see that some of them have 4 and 5 condition. And then some are not that good and they only have like 1 and 3. So now we're going to do and condition. Let's see how you do this. Condition, let's say greater than 3. And then let's see if this runs and works I want. Boom, works out perfect. So now we see logically what's happening here. We're selecting all of the columns from the cars table where the year is 1965 and the condition is greater than 3. And we can go so far as to say another, like doing something like this and saying, and the price is less than, let's say, 50,000. And then it'll just be one car. And to see how fast, like off of 3 conditions, we're able to narrow down to one exact car. And then a good practice also would be to add parentheses here, because if you have to add a lot of conditionals and doing things like that, that parentheses will help SQL understand that, okay, I need all of this to be true when I do the query and that conditional statement. Because these are 3 conditionals, you can make it into one. So like everything has to be valid for it to be a valid entry. And then this and is super powerful in making sure that happens. And with an and, I also skipped, so I'll go back to it right now. There is also an or. So let's do or. And then this is where parentheses come really crucial. And I'll do the parentheses right here. So what we're saying is we're selecting all the columns from cars. And then where the conditional of it either has to be equal to 1965 or the condition has to be greater than 3 and price has to be less than 50,000. So this one's going to be a special one. It's going to have, it's going to return a lot more. And we can check this and we can see that it's always going to be valid. So look at this one. And this one's valid where the price is less than it. And then the year is also less than 1965. And this one, this one has like all valid ones. Let me find one that's a better example. So we're going to have this one where you see that the year is not 1965, but the condition is going to be greater than 3. Or I guess, actually, let me add an equal in here and see what that does. Is that going to get rid of my little Triumph one? Actually, no, my Chevrolet. Well, this shows a lot more. Nope. Well, let's move on. There's no need to get confusing. I'm going off of the flow right now, so it's whatever I think of really on the spot to show that. So now we're going to show that I already showed here. Let's add some comments actually what I've showed so I can help myself remember. So we've showed select. We've showed what from is. We've showed where, and then we've showed or and. And now, whoops. Hey, why are you doing that? Don't mind me. All right. And now the next one I think would be good to show is not equal. And then I'll show how that looks like. It's going to be like this. So you see how I was doing the example over here where I said the year is equal to 1965. Now we can go over here and test that where let's say, okay, we're selecting all the columns from cars where year does not equal 1965. And now if we run this query, we'll see that, oh, what I messed up. Oops, sorry, I forgot. For my commas, it's a double dash. And now we'll see here, every single car in the database is going to be not from 1965. And that's pretty good since I don't think I would be able to drive a car that old. That's just how I am. But let me check something that's happening. Hmm. Boop up. One moment, guys. I want to make sure that I am showing my face. Boom. All right. Work good, guys. You see this. Look at that. The goatee. I'm looking great. Wonderful. All right. So where was I? Showing the not equal to 1965. We can add an and statement where also the condition. No, let's do a different one. I don't want to keep doing the same ones. And let's do where it's not 1965 and sold equals true. And I can also break down the parameters. I'll probably do that right now just to make it a little easier to understand. But the reason I'm doing some of these as numbers, some of these as words, and as well as to give an example over here, where I can do like brand equals Ford. This is going to be a string parameter. Actually, let me show you the beauty of it actually by just pulling up what I did to create this. So when I created the database, this is the command that I ran, this. So breaking this down, it's pretty obvious that English create the table if it doesn't exist, and we called it cars. And we created an ID, which is going to be a unique ID. That's why none of them are going to be the same. It's labeled 1, and it's just going to keep adding based off of the amount of entries that you do. And then the brand is going to be a text, which is going to be equivalent to string. Model is text. Year and price are going to be integers, numbers, because it's easier to search it up that way than having to do like putting in the apostrophes and then having to type in that number. So it's just easier for like the user. The color is going to be text as well, condition integer. And then that sold is going to be a Boolean because it's a 0 or 1 value, which is binary. I won't go into that. I'm just going based off of what's on my mind. But that's like that true or false thing. You only have two options. So they already have set values in the computer as well as on your system. Excuse me. So I'll get rid of this. And then I guess actually I'll bring it back just to show real quick that this is the create wave version. You can create whatever you want. You can add whatever parameters you want. You can set these to be anything else, and like it's whatever idea you have, whatever ideation, whatever you want to create, you can make it like a clean system for it. So when you have data that you need to use or data that you need to, whether it's manipulate, whether it's delete, whether it's add, like you'll have a one-stop shop where that can happen. And I think that's really awesome. So that's my create point hit. Boom. I gotta remember. I gotta hit the CRUD operations. So we have create done. A little smiley face. And now I forgot. I need to do update. And then I need to do, what was it? CRUD. Just create. Oh wait, we were doing read this whole time. So read, that's why I was forgetting about it. Update and then delete. But we'll go back a little more here, and then I'm gonna check my notes to make sure, because I want to make sure I show everything. What to do next? So many topics. SQL is so awesome. All right. Ooh, great one. Between. Let me go and type it right here. Between. So with this one, we're going to use year because it's the prettiest. So we're gonna say where year equals, let me check my syntax actually. Okay, yeah, it's not the equal, I'm sorry. So that between is going to be a conditional. So year is between, and then let's look at these so we can see. So let's say cars between 2000 and 2005. And that should be how you do it. Oh, I'm so silly, guys. Ignore me. It's not a comma. It's going to be an and because it is a conditional. And then now we're going to run this. And then you'll see that these IDs are going to make the unique ones. We see different brands, models, but based off of the conditional we added, all the cars are guaranteed to between 2000 and 2005, and 2005 being inclusive. So it's going to be in there. And then I see that Trey asked, what's the difference between serial and int? Serial, were you talking about when I created the database? Are you going off of this statement? Let me pull that back up. I can do this, no? I can just show this off here. Boom. All right. So that serial primary key, this is going to be something specifically from Supabase. And what it's saying is when I create this, I'm going to give it a completely unique ID, something that the database does not have. So when I add another car, it's guaranteed that the ID that's assigned to it is going to be a number that does not exist in the database to be an assigned value. So with all of these, let's go over to selecting all from cars. I can guarantee that none of these cars have the same ID. And then you'll see that when we have this integer one for like year, we can go over it and we can add this conditional where year equals 1965. And then we run that. You can see that for year, there can be duplicates. There can be multiple cars with the same year, but IDs are going to be different because let's say I have two Ford Mustangs. They're same exact price, same year, same color, both conditioned. That's two different cars. We don't want that database to confuse that as one because what's going to happen is we're going to sell that car. It's going to go off the lot. There's going to be a happy customer. But let's say another customer wanted that car. We have that second car, but because in the database, we didn't give it a unique ID. Let's say we use int instead. It's going to assume that there's only one of it. And then that other car is not in the database. It's never going to get sold. So giving it that unique ID means if I added another one, it would have its own ID. And then the database would know and we can sell it. So hopefully that answered your question. I appreciate you asking. I'm super glad to answer any questions. If anyone has any like specific queries that they want to see or like something like they want to see only cars that are sold or if they have like a specific car in here or they want me to add a car, then I can totally make that happen. It's whatever. I'm here for y'all. I'm super excited. So going with the flow, let's keep this going, guys. I'll keep this I'll actually move it down. Eventually, I'll probably share this at the very end in case anyone wants it. Oh, what I forget, what I forget. Oh, I forgot my little slash here. Boom. All right. And then how do you add a row to the table? So adding a row, that would be the, oh, perfect. All right, we can get right on this. So that's going to be that insert method. So then let me show you. So now we can do this where I'll pull this line and explain it because it'll be a little cleaner that way. Let's get rid of this bad boy. And now this insert method is going to be what makes that happen. And then let me just pull up a nice little value for us to use so it looks nice and pretty. All right, so now let's do here. And then let's get this one to be a comment for now, and then we'll show it later. And now we're gonna have here where we insert into cars, and then these are gonna be all the parameters from the table. We have the brand, the model, year, price, color, condition, and sold. And then I'll go back and I'll make a note right here about the ID where somebody earlier asked about the serial part, and I'll go back to that real quick. But doing this insert will logically say, okay, we're inserting into cars. So we're going into the car table. These are gonna be all the parameters and then we can set them as values. And then here's going to be where we add something. And like you could, that comma, I could add 100. I did them all at once, like when I added this. But let's see, I want to add, let's say Bugatti. Is that a brand? I don't know what that, let's just say Bugatti. And then the model is like, I don't know anything about cars. Let's say the horse 3-3, and it was made in the year 3000, and it's worth like $20. And what color is it? No, let's do rainbow. You have a rainbow car, right, guys? No, chrome. It's the year 3000, year 3000. Condition, perfect 5. And of course, not sold yet. Bugatti, oh, there we, oh, ignore my spelling. Bugatti, and then 2 T's. Got it, got it. I'm so sorry. And then now we have that there. And then I don't think I need this. And at the end of a statement, because I'm only gonna add one right now, you could add a semicolon to say the end of a query. So now we can see here, if we run this, we'll see a success. And then no rows returned because I'm not selecting anything to show. And that was that read portion. But let's now let's actually put this in a comment to show what we did. Let's get this over there. Command X, Command V. And now let's go down here. And let's say, okay, we're gonna select everything. And then from cars, make sure to capitalize because it looks pretty. And now the conditional where, and let's say where the year is greater than 2000. Now, if we run this, we'll see, oh my gosh, a new entry. The Bugatti Horse 3, years 3000, 20 bucks. And you'll see that's how you're gonna add a row to the table. And for this tutorial, I'm gonna keep it simple and just show that one entry, but it is possible to write like a function, or you can bring in CSV specifically from like anywhere. Like you can convert, there's so many ways to convert to a CSV, and CSV stands for, let's do, CSV is gonna be comma separated values. That's the fastest way to get a get a database filled, is using comma separated value. I think it's an extension, but don't quote me on that. I'm not gonna know that exactly. But this is a really powerful way to like add in 400 lines into your table. So hopefully that answered your question. So thank you for correcting me, Kari, about that Bugatti thing. And let's see. Let's make sure I have everything set up properly. Oop, my screen. Ooh, okay, let's go over. Got it, got it, got it. Where'd I go? Oh, it disappeared. Whoa. Oh, I'm full screen. Okay. Sorry, guys. Little bit technical difficulties. I'm just on the side, like having fun, showing myself. Okay, perfect. I'm back to where I need to be. All right. Next thing to teach. Next thing to teach. We have about 20 minutes left, guys. So I'm gonna do my best to see what's crucial. We've gone over R, and then let's do N. I appreciate that, Zaid. Thank you so much. And now, I guess we can go over another CRUD operation. We can go over delete. Yeah, let's get rid of. Nobody's gonna buy this Bugatti. Let's get rid of that. So let's figure out how to do that delete, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't have notes on that. Oh wait, so easy. Let's go here. So we're gonna select. We're gonna do delete. Full transparency. Not gonna remember how to do that right now, so we're gonna go ahead and skip that. But actually, I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, do I want to? No, I want to delete this card. So now we're going to delete from cars. Let me write this out logically. It's in my head. So we're gonna delete from cars, and then we're gonna add a conditional to get rid of something specific. And now, which one do I want to get rid of to show next? Do I really want to get rid of my Bugatti? Yes. Where, let's say this one's gonna be very specific, where price equals 20, because nobody's gonna want to buy our car. So now let's make this a comment for now. And then this is gonna be our one query. And then you can add, it's good practice to add these semicolons, but it's not syntax required. It's not gonna be like super strict like Java. So now if we run this, we should get a success. Super base safety thing. You don't have to worry about it. Run this query. Success, no rows returned. It's because super base is used a lot for backend and stuff like that. So it's gonna have a lot of row level security, where it makes sure like, hey, you don't want to delete the whole database, because it would be very easy to do so based off of the conditional statement. But now let's go ahead and comment this part out. Let's go to select. And if we run this, that year greater than 2000, We'll see that our Bugatti's gone. It's at its time. Excuse me. A bit of water break, guys. Make sure you drink your water, guys. Very important to stay hydrated. So now we have this information. All right, boom, checked off delete. I'm so proud of us, guys. We're cooking right now. All right, read, done. Delete, good. All right, look at all these smiley faces, guys. We're cooking. What? Oh, all right. Sorry, I don't know why I thought this was a face. I was like, why did I do this? And now the last one that we have left is going to be update. So we're going to be able to update something. So let's go ahead and see if I have something I want to update. Let's go ahead and first, let's find a car I really want to upgrade. So let's go over to select all from cars. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to take a cough drop. Let's select all from cars real quick. And while it's querying, let's find us a car we really want to modify, guys. Let's do this Ford right here. White whore. Let's say somebody took it for a test drive. It got in a really bad accident. Like, it's all their fault, but sadly, we're gonna have to change the condition of it to 1. So we're gonna have to go over here. And let me actually make this a thing so we can see specifically this and how it changes. So we can go back to that of selecting all the columns from cars. Now we're gonna add a conditional to guarantee that this is the only one we see. And the easiest way is doing that ID. So we can just say where ID equals 1. Nice and pretty. So now we're going to do update cars. So we're gonna update the table. And now we're going to do that set function. Oh, I'm talking about set. All right, so set. That's going to be that like CRUD method where you're changing a value, and that set is going to be a keyword for saying, hey, I have something I want to give you, take away that value and replace it. Like a car part, you're going to take that alternator out and put in a new alternator. See, I know some of y'all might not even know what an alternator is. It's what keeps your car running, by the way. You should always make sure that thing works. But so now we're gonna update cars, and then we're going to set a conditional, and then we're going to say something where sold equals false. So this car is sadly not sold. And then why did I do it like this, guys? I made a little note. Oh, sorry. The setting part is what you're doing. So we're gonna set condition equal up to 2. Sorry, guys. No, let's do condition 1. They got in a really bad crash, but the person's okay. In this story, that person's totally fine. So the condition is 1. And now we have to add that conditional, which is saying to what we're changing. So I'll write the whole thing out right now and then keep it nice and pretty. ID equals 1. So we know what car we're changing. So now let's go over this. We're going to be updating the car table, and then we're going to be setting all of the conditions equal to 1, where ID equals 1. So this is just going to be like its own special. I'll keep it this way. Like, I'll write another one where like update cars set condition equal to 1, where, and then let's say like if I didn't have an ID for it, and then I would just do brand equals Ford, and then and price equals, oh no, these 45,000. And that would be very specific to this car. Hopefully there's no other ones, but a Ford. And then to be extra safe, we can add another and it'll be like model equals Mustang. So looking at this, we'll see that this is one way to do it. You see how like difficult it is and like how many ads I have to say to guarantee that it's just this that gets deleted. Because if I had a car lot with 1 million cars, there would be a lot of repeats, and you'd want to make sure that you're changing the right car. Because let's say I have 50 cars that are all like this. They only crashed 1 car, hopefully. So we only want to change 1 car. That's why that ID thing, that serial is really important. Oh, boom, look at these cross references. I'm cooking right now. So let's get rid of, I'll keep it over here just in case. But let's go over here to this one. And now I'll comment this one out and then just let update run. Success, no rows returned because I don't have a select. So now we're going to go over here, comment this out, and now we're going to find that car again. All right, sadly, the crash did happen. The condition was changed to 1. So now let's go over here and, ooh, this got kind of big. Smiley face. There we go, guys. CRUD operations done. If there's any questions or anything, I have about 10 to 12 minutes left. So if there's any like things specific you want to see from this, anything you want to show, like do ask, don't be afraid to comment anything. Or is it comment? Like something like that. But let's do something else with our cars. What's something now that we're getting to endpoint, I'm like, let's do something crazy. Like, let's like destroy all the 1965 cars, but it's up to y'all. I don't wanna take that from y'all. What's something I think I can do like organization stuff. Let's do this. Let me think of a random query. Let's do select and I'll do brand. And then let's add a method, like a method that's already everyone knows. So let's do count. And I think it's done like this. Let me fact check myself. So now we're going to do all of them. And now we're going to do from. And then let's say cars. Oh, this is going to be a hefty one. Let me actually, I'm going to write this whole thing out because I would love to teach all this. Because then we can just jump back on it. Price to show the power of SQL when you write some big queries. And let's see if this runs real quick, guys. And then run. Oh, what'd I do wrong? What I wrong? I might have bit off more than I can chew, guys. Yeah, let's not do this one. It's too big, but I see, yeah, all right. So I can actually put this on here, and then that's something I would love to answer real quick. Let's go over here and let's make sure I do this right. Let's go over here and then show. All right, so Zay Mary asked, is there any best practices to follow when adding new fields to an existing table that already has rows without that field? And I'm going to talk from personal experience. Make sure I answer your question properly. New field. So with this, there is options. One thing I'll say is it's very difficult in the sense that if you have a database with 7 parameters and then that table, and then like you have 1,000 entries, and then all of a sudden you want to add one with an extra one, it's not going to work unless all of those have one. So the practice would be to either like write a method to figure out like, okay, let's go off of our car one. I want to add like how long the car has been there. Then for the other ones, I'm not going to be able to know exactly when they were unless I have the receipt. And I'm the owner, so I'm going to have all the receipts. So logically, I would write a query that tells me, okay, based off of when the car was bought, I want you to create a new parameter for all of the existing ones and saying that whenever they were bought, that's how long the car has been there. We're going to assume that. So with that, every single parameter is going to get filled off of that query for every single row. And that's a really important thing because I don't think it's possible at all anyway, or it would be really bad if it happened. But in a table in the database, every single row and column is going to be the same in the sense that there has to be something in there. Like even if it's just a null value, you can't have nothing. Like that's not possible. So if you were trying to add something and adding another parameter, all of the other ones would have to have that parameter as well. Even if it's null, like you'd have to create that instance of null, but you don't want to do that because that wouldn't be the good practice. The good practice would be making sure that all of them also have that valid one. So it's like, to step back into a farther better practice is making sure that when you create your database, you thoroughly think out every single parameter, you make sure that's created. And also it doesn't hurt to have extra parameters. Like for my thing, for my startup, I have a referral system, and that's like to refer people. I have not touched the code to create a referral system or do anything like that, but it's there. So now, if I ever wanted to add a referral system, it'd be super easy to do so, and I could add that. I could have done that on a separate table as well to make it cleaner, but I have it all in my main one because it looks pretty. It's all on there. It looks great. So that's one way you can do it. But hopefully, I've answered your question. Do let me know if I haven't, and if there's anything else you'd like to know. So let's get this here. And then let's go back to my SQL editor. And let's go over here and let's say I want to do, maybe this one. I'll start copying one and explaining what they do because typing is taking away time. All right, so now this is a lot. It's just one number. Let me explain this. So now we already know select does, and then now we're grabbing from it. So column is what we were doing before, but average is going to be a method that we're using. That's an SQL one. And price is that column that we're passing. Oops. And now what we're saying here is we're grabbing the average price from cars. So that means that entire column, it's going to add them all up. It's going to count the amount of instances of the column, and then it's going to divide it, show you the math, and then show stuff like this. And that's going to be our average thing. Oh, before sake, yeah. The planning part, like, I probably spent a whole day just making sure that like my database was good because it also like there's gonna be times where you're gonna go back and be like, dang, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. And it happens, but that initial planning part is really important, and especially using Supabase because it's really powerful. But with that, like you want to make sure you set it up right. You want to make sure that you have everything that you need for it. But now going on to select the average price from cars, this is what we can do. Let's do counting the cars by brand. Let's make another method for this. Boom. And now let's do this one over here. All right. So now we're selecting brand as the column. And now count is going to be another method. I'm writing these methods now. I'll slow down and explain every method. I think I have about 5 minutes left, so I can get a couple of these methods out. They're going to be like basic ones, but they're super powerful. And like you're about to see what this one's about to do. And then group by, I haven't talked about. I'll explain it. This one's pretty simple, but let's see. Run. Boom. Wow, this is nice. I think I should have like 20 Bugattis in here. But now we're gonna have this idea. So sorry, this query that I'm gonna explain. We're gonna have select brand. We're gonna know that. We're grabbing the column. We're gonna have the count, which is gonna be the method. And this star is what I was trying to focus on. We already know what the star does. It's everything. So it's gonna be count everything. I count all of it. And then from cars, which is going to be our table, and then this group by. This group by is going to be like, okay, let's see what happens if I got rid of it. Run. Oh, what do I do? Oh, it's crucial. That's fire. Okay, so oops. Run. Okay, so when it's counting it, and because brand is a string, it's going to want to make sure that you're able to display the data in a clean way because it's going to be able to get that information. I know it's able to, but trying to display it in like this, what is this, a console? Yeah, display it in the console. It's going to need that group by. And that group by is going to say that like, okay, we're grabbing the brand, we're counting all of them, and it's from our table, cars, and then we're grouping them by that brand. But what happens if I try price? Yeah, error. Has to be the same one. Boom. Lesson learned, guys. I'm learning the same time as you. Let's stick to brand. And now this is going to be counting all. I don't know. Let's do counting cars by brand. And then I think, what's another one I can do? Uh, let's do the min and max for the final stuff. Let's do finding the cheapest car price. And then let's also do finding the most expensive car price. Because like, give real world example. okay, we have somebody that comes in to my lot and they're like, hey, I'm a broke high school student, as that we all were, everybody knows. And it's gonna be like, I want you to find me the cheapest car. I want to buy it. And I'm like, okay, let me find you the cheapest car and we'll do that. So let's set that up and I'll give an example for most expensive. And then now we're gonna see it's probably gonna be select a select part, and then our function, which is gonna be min, since the minimum, and then price is what we're looking for. And we're pulling, ooh, not form, sorry guys, from cars. And let's add that little semicolon because I feel like it. And we'll see that this is going to be our minimum. And now if I really wanted to, I'll do it separately just so we can remember the practices. Select all from, whoopsies. Actually, I'll show that this works too. From, you can not capitalize it, but it's a good practice to do so. So let's do select all from cars. And now let's do a where clause. Let's do price is equal to 10,000 so we can see what our cheapest car is, guys. Oh, well, it's pretty good condition. That's drivable in my eyes. 2001. Not bad. All right. Now we have this. What happens if I do this, guys? If I run a command. Dang, it just commented out. That's fire. All right. And now, find the most expensive car. It's going to be, let's say, Sam Altman wants a car. CEO of OpenAI. OpenAI? Yeah. I think Sam Altman. Some rich, famous dude wants a car. Let's get him a car. What's their CEO? We gotta find him the best. So now, logically, we can just do the same off of my comment. So now we're gonna select max of price, and that's gonna be from cars. And we'll see that. Holy cow, that's expensive. Oh my gosh, who's paying that? I'm not buying that. And let's see this. Now let's do, whoops, not the S, guys. Now let's see, let's check what this car is. 64900. And let's run this. Oops, what'd I do? Let me. Does this work? Yay! I want it to look pretty, guys. All right. See this? Aston Martin. I don't even know what car that is. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, clearly it's a really good car since it's $649,000. But yeah. So real quick, going over, I'm just gonna real quick show. So we went over the count method. Counts up to stuff. We went over min, max, and then group by is going to be a conditional with count because you want to make sure that you group the together so it displays cleanly. And oh yeah, average as well. Average, adding them all for a column, dividing it. It works really well with integers. I don't think it works that well with strings, but there's definitely a way to do so. SQL is powerful. But yeah, guys, this is going to be my intro to SQL, SQL, whatever you want to call it. I'm glad I was able to show information. Hopefully, everyone in the chat learned at least one thing I was able to teach them, or if you're proficient in it, then a little review, whatever works best for y'all. But I am now going to make sure that I plug in. Let me find the, I want to say, make sure that I include this. Feedback, guys. I'm an MLS coach. This is my first time stream. I would love feedback to know, like, if there's something else you wanted to see, anything to improve. Anything's welcome. Like, it's free to everybody. Just put however you feel about it and how it went. And thank everybody for coming for my first stream. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to end it off by saying thank you. I want to make sure that I don't cut off into other people's time since I think I am running. Yeah, I'm running with 5 minutes over. So let me make sure that I don't do that. And then hopefully I was able to teach something. And I want to say thank you to everybody. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, super exciting. Yeah, I did not think I'd reach out this fast. Okay. Thank you.